Okay, welcome to lesson 44 in Saxon's third edition of Algebra 1. And this lesson is basically adding and subtracting fractions, but it's called addition of rational expressions with equal denominators and with unequal denominators. All right, you guys remember about adding and subtracting fractions, right? That you have to have a common denominator before you can add or subtract a fraction. Well, it's that same principle. Even in rational expressions in algebra, you have to have the same denominator in order to add or subtract. So for instance, here we have the same denominator. Here, these two have the same, these two. And then when you add 1 over 3x plus 5 over 3x, you have 6 over 3x. Here you would have x plus x is 2x, and 3 plus 5 is 8 over x minus 2. Here 5x minus x is 4x, and 3 minus negative 5 is the same thing as plus 5, which is 8. Alright, so here if we add 2 over 5x plus 1 over 5x, we're going to get 3 over 5x. Alright, and in your solution, you're just going to leave, don't leave any spaces. Alright, let's look at this in action. 4 over 2x squared plus y minus 6ax over 2x squared plus y. We have the same denominator here, okay? But 4 and 6 cannot be added because they are not like terms. 4 is a term all to itself. 6ax is a completely separate term. This all stays together, so it cannot be added to 4. So the only thing you can do is put 4 minus 6ax, again, no space left in between, over 2x squared plus y. Alright, this is just another example of when you're having to find an equivalent fraction. So with unequal denominators, you've got to have a common denominator. So in this case, the common denominator would be x plus 2, x minus 1. Alright, if it is that, we're going to have to find what this fraction would equal with that denominator. So we're going to need to multiply this times x minus 1, and we get 3x minus 3. Here we would need to multiply by x plus 2, giving us 5x plus 10. So this is what we're adding. 3x plus 5x is 8x, negative 3 and positive 10 is 7, all over x plus 2, x minus 1. Now, why do we multiply by this? Let's go on to the next frame and I'll show you. Alright. It may be spelled out a little bit better right here. Here, our common denominator would be x minus 3x plus 5. Alright. So I need to get an equivalent fraction to 3 over x minus 3 with this denominator. So I look to my side and I say, what do I have here that I am missing here? X plus 5. So I'll multiply this 3 times the x plus 5, giving me 3x plus 15. Here I'm going to say, what am I missing here that I have here? I'm missing the x minus 3. So I'll say 2 times x minus 3. I'll distribute that 2 over both to get 2x minus 6. Then I can add my like terms. 3x and 2x is 5x, and 15 minus 6 is 9. And so 5x plus 9 over x minus 3, x plus 5, is my final answer. Let's move on. Okay, here we have a little simpler version of that same thing. Probably should have put this one first, huh? But my common denominator is going to be x, y. Okay, x, y. 1 over x. If my denominator is y, then I'm going to have to multiply 1 by y. And I get y, or 1y, over xy. Here, I'm going to need to multiply by x. So I would get x over xy. Now, when I subtract or add those two together, I'm just going to combine this right here and y minus x in the numerator over xy. All right, I like to, and I tell students all the time, I think it's much better because this is the way you actually learned it in when you were learning to add and subtract fractions and to find equivalent fractions. I think it's just much easier to do it vertically rather than horizontally. So if my common denominator between 4 and b is 4b, and that is the least common multiple, okay, and that's why that comes in handy, then I'm going to need to look here and say, okay, what do I have here that I'm missing here? Have a b. So I'm going to need to multiply this by b to keep it equivalent. 3 times b is 3b. All right, same thing here. What do I have here that I'm missing here? I have a 4. So I'll multiply this 2 times 4 to get 8. Then when I add these, I get 3b plus 8 over 4b. I just think that's much easier. I think it's easier for you to keep up with, and I would prefer that you do it that way. Meaning, when I check your work, that's what I expect to see. All right, here I've done it horizontally, and like I said, I think it's so much more difficult to see this way. If the common denominator is 2bc, okay, 2bc, what am I missing here? I'm missing the 2 and the c. So I'll multiply that by 4, and I'll get 8c. If I've got the c, what am I missing? The 2 and the b. So 2b over 2bc. If I've got the 2, I'm missing the b and the c. So bc over 2bc. Then I just simply, none of these are like terms. They can't be added together. So we simply put 8c plus 2b plus bc all over our common denominator, 2bc. All right, so let's work our practice problems. In A and in B, we have a common denominator already. So here I can just say 4m plus 6m is 10m, and negative 2 and negative 4 is negative 6 over 3m plus 2. All right, and here 9 and 7AP are not like terms. There's nothing that can be added there. So I'm just going to simply write 9 minus 7AP over x y cubed plus m. And then I'm done with that. All right, here I have set this up vertically, like I told you I would like for you to do, and I'm going to choose my least common multiple or common denominator. All right, I have m and c, so I've got to use both of those. I've got c cubed, and then remember I need to use the larger. M to the fourth is larger than m cubed, so I'm going to use m to the fourth. And that's going to be my common denominator for every single one of these. So once you make sure you have the correct common denominator, the rest is not too difficult. All right, so let's start at the top. What do I have here that I'm missing here? Well, I'm missing C3 and 1m. So I'm going to multiply this x times C cubed m. And I get x C cubed m. All right, what about here? I have this c cubed, but I'm missing this m4th. So I'll multiply by m to the 4th, and I get 1m to the 4th. All right, down here I have m to the 4th, but I'm missing c cubed. So I say a times c cubed is a c cubed. Now this, and this, none of those are like terms, so they cannot be added. So I'm simply going to have to bring those down. X c cubed m plus m to the 4th plus a c cubed all over c cubed m to the 4th. And that would be my answer. All right, moving on. All right, in this one, my common denominator, least common multiple, would be 1p cubed. Now, since 1 doesn't change the value of anything, I'm just going to leave it off. And I'm just going to put p cubed for every single one. All right, now you see this one already has p cubed, so it's not going to change at all. It's going to remain the same. Here, I've got p squared, so I'm missing 1p from here. So I'm going to multiply m times p, and I get mp. And here, I have 1, but I'm missing the whole p3, so I'm going to multiply by p cubed, and I get 4p cubed. All right, so then I'm going to get my answer, mp plus 3. Sorry about that. I just can't seem to get my phone to stop ringing at night. Plus 3 minus 4p cubed. And all of that is going to be over p cubed. And that is my final answer. All right. Good job. I'll see you back for lesson 45.